everybody. Welcome back to the Money Machine Podcast. In today's episode, we're going to be asking the question on how to buy your first home. That's a good question, right? Well, good thing we have somebody to answer. Please welcome our mortgage expert, Marte Money.
Woo! Damn, what an introduction, man. You got to feel good when you got young individuals, young kids getting ready to prepare themselves to become homeowners. Did you know that in the state of, or rather in the country of the United States of America, you need to be 16 years and older in order to own a property? So the good thing is that you're almost there, right?
Yep.
How old are you?
13.
13 years old. He's going to start saving money right now, building his credit right now, and you're going to get a job. Well, this is your job already, I guess, huh?
Yep.
Very excellent. Very, very fun, man. Well, Jaden, I do get this question a lot. It's really the most popular question is, how do I buy a home? And it's really so simple that even a 13-year-old can understand it. You ready?
Yep.
All right. So what you got to do, Jaden, is the first thing you got to do is you got to build your credit. Credit is basically when a bank can show you, or rather when a bank can lend you money, and you can show the bank that you're responsible with that money that they lent you. It's like you go to your dad and you say, Dad, I borrowed $100. But you tell him, I'm going to pay you back. You got to actually pay him back. And now the $100 that you borrow from him, don't use the whole $100. Use $20. That one, you got to pay him back. You only pay him back $20.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Or you only got to pay him back, you got to pay him back 100, but you only use 20. So you still have the other 80.
Yeah.
So it's easier to pay him back because you still have the other part of it. That's number one, is building your credit. Borrow money from the bank. And don't use all of it. Use little by little and pay it back as soon as you can. 2, it's also very simple. Save money. Saving money is actually one of the hardest things that I've noticed that people have. It's a really tough habit to build. But once you build it, it's easy. So what is saving money? Every time you get paid, you get your allowance, save 10%. Matter of fact, save 20% if you can. If you get a $100 allowance every month, save $20. The other $80, buy yourself some games, go out to eat. Take me out to eat, whatever, right? But the point is, save money all the time. The more money you save, the more opportunities are going to be out there for you. Whether that's, going out with a little girlfriend or whatever, whether that's buying a property, whether that's, buying the newest gadget that comes out, and because you have that gadget, you're into social media and like gaming and stuff like that, live streams and stuff. Maybe there's a new platform that comes out, and because you saved your money, then you can invest in that platform, and that platform makes you money, right? I mean, it's very simple. That's the second thing. The second thing is saving your money. The third thing is you need to have a stream of income. You need to make money and at least have that money be producing that money for at least 2 years. So have a job and be at your job for at least 2 years and show that income. Because the problem is that, here's the problem. Let me tell you something that adults do, myself included. I make money, and I don't tell nobody. Most importantly, the IRS. Do you know who the IRS is?
Yeah.
This kid's 13 years old, he knows who the IRS is. So, if you don't tell the IRS how much money you made, it doesn't exist, technically. So that's it. Save your money, build your credit, and have a job.
Okay. So, I have some questions from our viewers. First one, what type of loan do I need? And what do I need to qualify?
What, you personally? Well, most likely when you go to buy a house, because you've been preparing since you were 13 years old, you're going to apply for a conventional loan. Conventional loan is one of the most popular loans that are out there. That is basically a loan made out to a person that they have a job, they have a credit, they have savings, and the bank will verify, okay, you have credit. How much credit do you have? Who do you owe money to? What types of credit do you have? Do you have installment loans, student loans, credit cards, personal loans, mortgages, car loans? I mean, there's so many different types of debt that you can acquire, right? That's why this country is number one in debt, because we have so many different options to get yourself in debt, right? Number 2, we're going to check is how much money you have saved. The bank says, okay, I'm going to lend you money, but how much money can you put out of your own pocket? The less money you put out of your pocket, the more money I gotta put. That's a bigger risk for me. But let's say, for example, me and you, we buy a house, right? You put 50, I put 50%. We both have an equal stake on the house. There's not that much risk, because if you lose, I at least I only lose 50%. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you put 20% and I put 80%, sheesh. If you lose, I lost 80%. That's a lot of much bigger percentage. So the problem is that people want the lowest interest rate. They want the best loan terms, but they want to put as little out of pocket as possible. So you're putting all the risk on me, all the stuff that can go bad on me, and I'm supposed to give you the best terms. Nah, man, it don't work like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Second question. How much does the loan cost in total?
Oof, that's a good one. So you're talking about closing costs. How much does it cost you for me to finance you what you're looking for? Well, it's a very simple number. I'm going to give you the easy math. Again, we're talking to teenagers here, right? You got to keep it simple. There's a saying, it's called KISS, and it stands for keep it simple, stupid. The KISS is 5%. The closing costs are on average around 5% of what the house costs. So if you're buying a house that costs $400,000, 5% is 20 grand. That's what it could potentially cost you. Within that cost is a lot of different stuff that goes in it. It's not just that the bank is not making $20,000. The bank is making a fraction of that because we got to pay our staff, we got to pay our underwriters, we got to pay appraisers, we got to pay the title company, the inspectors, the deed, we got to pay your attorney, your taxes, your insurance. There's so much that goes into it that's why it's 5%. So you can literally buy a house, the minimum down payment is 3%. You could buy a house for $400,000, 3% is 12 grand, but still pay $20,000 in closing costs. That sounds crazy. Like, how did I spend more money in the cost of the financing than the money on that I'm putting down? And it's because you got to pay so many different people. It's a lot of people. Guys, you're borrowing $400,000. Is that a lot of money or what?
That is a lot.
That's a lot of money, right? Takes some people like 10 years to make that much money. So you're borrowing $400,000. So there's a lot of people that need to make sure that investment that you're making and I'm making as the bank is secure and safe and sound. So that way we don't put anything on risk. So we got to pay the right professionals to make sure they do the job correctly and it gets done. Guys, you can't be cheap. All right. If you're cheap, if you want a Louis Vuitton bag, but you're paying Sam's Club prices, you're not getting Louis Vuitton. You're going to get a Sam Vuitton or something. I don't know.
Okay, next question. How long does the loan approval usually take?
Sure. So that's a good question as well. So there's a couple of different approvals, if you will. There's something that's called a pre-qualification. Pre-qualification is when you call me, say, hey, Waldry, I want to get a loan. What do I qualify for? And I can ask you some basic questions over the phone and ask you, what's your credit score? Where do you work? How long you've been there? How much money do you make? How much money is in your savings account? And I'll say, okay, well, you maybe qualify for $400,000. That's a pre-qualification. You didn't send me nothing. I didn't verify anything. I just asked you over the phone. It's a pre-qual. The second is a pre-approval, which is much better. A pre-approval is when I ask you the same questions. However, I also ask you to send me your tax returns, pay stubs, and W-2s. Or a mixture of those different documents. I want to verify that what you're telling me, it is accurate and it's true. Once I verify those documents, I may be able to give you a pre-approval letter which says, Jaden, based on your income, your assets, and your credit, you qualify for $400,000. That's a pre-approval. Now, there's a step beyond that. You can get a underwritten pre-approval or a loan approval. A loan approval is basically when the bank reviews the documents that you sent me and additionally ask other further questions based upon those documents that you sent. So we verify with your landlord that you lived there, that you paid rent on time. We called your employer, make sure that you worked there, that you've been making the same amount of money there or more. We verify with your creditors that everything is good on your credit. We run background searches on you to make sure that you're not stealing money, that you're not a criminal, that you're not doing money laundering, etc., etc. So we're going through a whole process. So let me now answer your question, now that I described the three different types of approvals. The pre-qualification is going to take you 5 minutes on the phone, with me, 10 minutes, give or take. The second pre-approval will take you about, depends how fast. If you give me all my documents in a day, I can get you pre-approved in 24 hours or less. If it takes you a week to send me the documents, it might take me a week to get you pre-approved. It all depending on how fast you can give me what I need to do my job. And then the actual underwritten approval takes about 2 to 3 weeks. Again, depending on how quickly you can get the documents over to us, depending on how complicated your job and your income is, but we need to ask a lot more additional questions. So it's really all contingent on the borrower or the client, because everybody makes different income, everyone has different credit, everyone has different needs and wants. So that's roughly how long it takes.
These were great answers for honestly great questions. Time to finish up now. Signing out. The Money Machine Podcast. with the best of the best. Marte, buddy!
All right. Thank you so much.